Hello, on a dark summer's evening, on a Tuesday, there was one Englishman and one Scottish man.
Christ's
The
sake.
Scottish man was named Murph. Worth? Murph. Murph. The English man was named Herf. Welcome to Herf and Murph's Gaming Podcast.
I'm doing the intro next time.
I went with it.
Right, welcome to the fucking gaming podcast with Harf and Marf. You're joined
See?
by Marf and the annoying Englishman known as Harf, who likes to do ultra dramatic entrances, but hey ho, we'll let him go with it. He's a bit special that way.
You see, ladies and gentlemen, we both agreed that I would do the intro this week, and now he's pretty much just stolen my thunder by doing an intro after my intro, which made much sense than my intro did. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, any repeat viewers, we thank you for coming back.
Yes.
And this week we are going to talk about Halo 2. We're going to work our way through the Halos, so obviously this is chronological. So, first things first. Halo 2 introduces us to another main protagonist in Halo.
Which was a risky move.
It was a risky move. It was a very risky move.
It was a risky move for a direct sequel.
Yeah. Yeah, it certainly was. There's a lot of love for Chief. I think that was one of the big concerns, wasn't it? When you actually see the Arbiter first before you see Chief.
Yeah. But essentially, the Arbiter was the leader of the fleet of the Covenant that you encountered on Halo 1.
Yeah.
You never hear of him, you never see him or anything
No,
at
you
all
don't.
in Halo 1. But essentially, when the campaign opens up, there you are with High Charity and all its sci-fi gloriness.
Oh, God, yeah. It was incredible.
And the Arbiter, being the poor bastard he is, we're having our fan, eh? Because he essentially failed the Covenant, he's essentially up for trial. And as we all know, the Prophets, if you've played the Halo games, are a bunch of assholes.
Oh, yeah. The Great Journey!
So,
I don't know why I did that in a northern accent. The Great Journey to pub.
He's up for trial for essentially failing the entire Covenant with their religious needs for consuming this great journey.
For letting the Halo ring get destroyed by the demon.
But it's an interesting point, though. It's always the thing with conflict between two groups is that when one fails, the one that fails is always like really punished, even if they did a good job.
Yeah, it's because his whole argument, wasn't it, that even in his kind of sentencing, that he had to deal with the Flood, like the humans were, less of a threat than the Flood was, and he still got absolutely raped for it.
Yeah. And I think it's a good thing as well that they actually. The thing with Halo 2 was, with Halo 1 it was a very enclosed story, but with Halo 2, just with introducing us to the Covenant at the very first hand, you're blowing up the entire lore of the game with the first cutscene.
Oh yeah, the expansion, from like you say, that very first cutscene is huge in the Halo universe. You've only seen things from a human point of view, and now you actually get to see what's happening on the other side of the scale.
And the Covenant speak English.
Yes, they do. No more og, 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 og. No, it's like Murph and I were discussing before the podcast that a lot of people didn't like the introduction of the Arbiter Felverdam. I did it again. I keep thinking of Jean-Claude Van Damme. Yeah. Mainly because of the fact that in my opinion, is that people love Chief so much that they couldn't fathom the idea of seeing someone else first. I mean, you don't get to play as the Arbiter first, do you? But you see him first.
I think it was.
It was a bit of a scare factor for fans, really, wasn't it? Seeing seeing someone else at the forefront of the campaign for Chief.
I think people knew it though, because back when they did the E3 demo, the multiplayer demo, when they were on Zanzibar, one person was a Spartan, and the person that you could see was an elite. So it showed that elites were playable in some fashion.
Yeah. But it was such a scary notion, though, wasn't it? That
I think as well it's because
Yeah,
the whole run up to Halo 2 was the Covenant are invading Earth.
yeah. So why, from our point of view, why would you want to see your own people get destroyed? But the Arbiter was such a good character. I'm so glad they did it.
Voiced by the legendary Keith David.
Yes, and what a voice actor!
Perfect for him,
What,
actually.
yeah, absolutely incredible. He did a hell of a job. Did a hell of a job. Hmm. So that's kind of the first thing we want to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. It's just how it felt to play as opposing factions. Is it kind of the forefront of each opposing faction as well? You know, they were dead set against each other. Yet you got to play it from both point of views. I mean, you get a hint of that in Halo 5, but it's not as good in Halo 5.
No.
No, the Halo, Halo 2 did it supremely,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely incredibly.
And they also kept it equal
Yeah,
with
they
how
did.
yeah.
They did. I think they give you as much emotion as you do through playing Chief, through the Arbiter as well, which I think that was an incredible feat.
I
That was
think as
really
well
well
that
done.
people were annoyed at the fact that the first and yeah, you get introduced to the Arbiter at the very beginning of the game, and at the very end you're playing as the Arbiter.
Yeah,
The last mission was the Arbiter.
it was, wasn't it? Um, I'm trying to think what's the last mission the Chief is in Halo 2?
That's when he's trying to infiltrate High Charity before it heads to Earth. Not High Charity,
Yeah,
the Forerunner ship, the Dreadnought, before it heads to Earth.
yeah. He's on High Charity, isn't he? Fighting through the flood,
Yeah,
and he leaves Cortana in the console. Mm. That's a very ominous cutscene right at the end, which Halo 2 Anniversary did. Spectacular. Those cutscenes were incredible.
but the thing before we head off for the first cutscene is that during that first cutscene you really get a very good idea of the Covenant sort of politics and
Yeah,
hierarchy
the hierarchy.
because
Yeah,
you see that the prophets they essentially shape what people are known like today, like with the old sending the young to go off to war, and the
yeah.
young would never lift a finger. The old, sorry, would never lift a finger.
Well, they're like this. They portray the prophets as like gods, don't they?
Yeah,
The
but
truth, regret, and mercy.
essentially they're just persuading people to go to war for a belief because I
Mm.
think I don't know fully the Covenant lore who actually had the first idea for the Great Journey.
Yeah, I'm not that set on it myself.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
you get the idea that the prophets are not corrupt, but they're playing things to their own desires more than anyone else's, any of the other species.
Yeah, but they've got blind belief, haven't they? Even the prophets, because they still believe that the great journey is started through firing one of the Halo rings. Yet the truth is that it just obliterates all the sentient life so the flood can't feed on
Yeah.
them. They're preaching a false reality, aren't they?
Yeah. And then directly after that, when you see the Arbor get stripped of his armor and then branded by
Yeah,
Tartarus, who
yeah,
you can tell Tartarus is the asshole of the entire campaign.
yeah. He's the he's almost like the treacherous younger brother, isn't he?
And that was the first introduction we got to the Brutes as well, because they weren't
It
in the
was, yeah.
first game.
They weren't in Halo 1. A bit
And
late to the game, weren't they?
you could definitely tell that the both sides were elites were the more how to put a point at it was like the
Elegant.
yeah the elites were with a scalpel where the brutes were the hammer.
Yeah, yeah. And I like the way that you've used scalpel and hammer as a kind of reference to the sword
Yeah.
and the gravity hammer.
And
Yeah.
then we get put to Master Chief
Mm. Yeah.
on one of the Max stations
Yeah.
above Earth.
Was it Cairo, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Cairo, yeah. Orbital defense platform. And then here comes Regret's fleet. But I love that cutscene that where they're walking to get their medals.
Yeah.
And Cortana comes up and says, "You look nice," and him and Johnson say thank you.
That's actually a good point though,
Yeah.
because when we don't actually see Chief at the very start, but we see him getting his new armor because, as the quartermaster says, he's essentially ruined the old armor
Yeah.
with how much punishment he's put under.
Yeah. The power supply is knackered.
Optics, totally fried. Let's not even talk about the power supply. So you have an idea how expensive this is, son? And you just see him put on the helmet. It's just like, tell that to the
The
Covenant.
Covenant, yeah.
Legend.
Incredible. And then there's another little quip with Johnson, isn't there? Sorry,
Yeah.
guns, that's classified.
That was what we were talking about in the last
Yeah, we were,
podcast.
weren't we? Yeah, how the hell Sergeant Johnson got off that ring.
And
There's
then
still, there's still no real definitive answer.
you see them get their medals, even though Chief has probably got a chest load of them
Yeah,
by now.
literally. You know the padding, that the gel layer, that's just made up of like metal ribbons. That's what the suit's made of, metal
He
ribbons.
armors himself with his own merit.
It's just melted metals and recast it into an armor.
And there was an actual undertone where when they had their medals getting dished out, I think Lord Hood and Cortana actually knew something was coming.
Yeah, yeah. I think that was, you know, Cortana actually says, doesn't she? Another click just off the battle cluster? Like, another click, as there's already been some.
Yeah.
It shows that they know something is about to happen. But I think, one thing we wanted to talk about was that parallel, that at the same time as Master Chief getting his medals and Johnson and, Miranda Keys, that the Arbiter, or, Thelbadam, who's about to become the Arbiter, is getting punished,
Yeah.
Covenant, it's that undertone that Bungie were trying to get across, is that this alien race is oppressive, whereas we're trying, they're the ones attacking us. We're trying to defend and survive, because a lot of the story of Halo is that the Covenant are more powerful, they are stronger, they've got bigger numbers, and their weaponry is much more advanced. And it was, that scene of torture versus praise.
Yeah.
It's meant to kind of show the difference between the Covenant and between the UEG, United Earth Government.
But also, it's a very human thing, because like I was saying, when you get two groups that collide, whoever wins gets praised, where the other one gets punished.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we see the fleet, Regret's fleet,
Yeah,
in Earth orbit, and Lord Hood actually points out that it was like the fleet that destroyed Reach was like 50 times the size.
the size, yeah.
Which does show you as well that the Covenant, they're essentially putting humanity against the wall.
Yeah, and then, anyone who's played Reach, towards the last missions, especially, you really do get that feel of desperation. You're losing Spartan after Spartan.
Yeah.
It's a story of what happens next on this Reach. And I know a lot of people didn't like Reach, but I loved it for that reason.
I thought the campaign for Reach was beautiful, which is
it's
something
incredible.
I'd love to get into when we do approach it.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about that at a later date.
But before we head off deeper into the campaign, I just have to say the one line of dialogue that has always summed the Chief up is when it's like, Lord Hood's like, Chief, defend the station. And it's like, just, you're asking a single man to defend the station against a Covenant fleet, and all the Chief says is, yes sir, I need a
Yeah,
weapon. And it's not like, I need every weapon you've got, it's just, I need a weapon. It could be a pistol, and I will annihilate everything within my sight.
Exactly. And that brings us to the pinnacle weapon of Halo 2. You've got no assault rifle.
That's the SMG, come on. It's just a reskinned assault rifle.
It's not as powerful. It's definitely not as powerful.
No.
But I do agree with your point. It is, the SMG was a replacement, but you've had that iconic 60-round assault rifle in Halo CE.
Yeah.
It's horrible that it's missing, but then you pick up, after Chief said that to Johnson, I need a weapon. You pick up that BR for the first time, and you run into that first room. There's a Marine setting up a 50 cal. There's a few more Marines running in to cover the door. You pick up that BR, that door explodes, and out comes about 4 or 5 grunts. And you realise, oh wait, it's only going to take 5 pulls of the trigger, if I do this perfectly, to annihilate all of these grunts. I mean, unless you're playing on Legendary, of course, and then you got like 6 elites come out behind him.
Oh, God.
So Halo 2 on Legendary was impossible, wasn't it?
I'd like to say, just before we get off, is the Halo 2 was probably the worst game for Legendary.
Oh, yeah.
It was brutal.
All scrolls on as well. It was, ugh, it was horrible. Anyone tried to do that achievement and succeeded, I praise you.
Yes.
I never managed to. I don't think I've ever managed to do any whole campaign legendary all scrolls on. I've never done it. I've done a few missions, but never campaign.
Wait, you actually completed a campaign on Legendary? I just went through probably 3 or 4 missions and thought, nah, I give up.
I've beat every one on legendary.
Wow.
Actually, tell you, I haven't done Halo 5 yet. I'm about halfway through. But I play too much multiplayer. I don't spend enough time in the campaign in Halo 5.
So, yeah, I think it's that point when you realise that it's not changed, but it has.
Yeah. The scale of Halo has changed.
Yeah.
The game hasn't. You've still got that fantastic story there, but it's 100 times bigger.
And it looks a whole lot better. I'm sorry, but Halo
Yeah.
2,
Oh,
for all its
wow.
texture popping issues that it did have, but it was a better looking game by far.
Yeah. And for only 3 years later as well, and on the same console,
Yeah.
Bungie really learnt from their first Xbox. Because just remember, ladies and gentlemen, Xbox, the original Xbox, there was no online patches. You didn't have online support.
You didn't have day one patches the second you got the game.
Exactly, like 90% of games have now, unfortunately. But it was a game that was built on the same console. Almost identical tech. Obviously, later versions of the same console had slight changes, but it's incredible that they managed to produce that better quality on exactly the same console. Just like we just said, there's no patches, there's no online adjustment, and they couldn't even do that back then if they wanted to. The technology wasn't really available to do that. So the technological differences between Halo CE and Halo 2, that's another thing that really stands out. And Bungie put a lot of time into that, and it worked. It came off well.
And I think when you were talking about the BR, we do have to talk about the essentially the spectacular thing about Halo 2, which was dual wielding
needles.
Yep.
Dual wielding needlers.
No, come on. The first thing you dual wielded was SMGs. Don't lie.
Yeah, but 2 super combines all at once.
Did you not notice what dual wielding SMGs? How it was you just ripped everything to shreds.
You cut through. It's like having a chainsaw going through wood. It's that kind of thing. Especially on the easier levels, but even on the harder levels, you can still cut through grunts and elites. But that's the thing. You almost had the AR in your hands when you had two SMGs. That's what I felt.
I don't know, I felt like a god whenever I had those 2 weapons in my hands. I didn't care about any other weapon. Actually, no, if I tell a lie, the plasma rifle and the SMG.
Yeah, a little bit of plasma and a few bullets, yeah.
I would literally, when it came to this sort of simple 4 grunts in elite, I would literally just plasma rifle the elite, nail that with the SMG, and then just turn the SMG on the rest of the poor grunts.
I tell you what, we're talking about weapons. The grenades in Halo 2, they threw a lot differently to what they did in Halo 2.
And they were weaker, a lot weaker.
Yeah. Oh, I knew that. That Halo 1 frag grenade was ridiculous. It was like a rocket. It was almost just as powerful as the rocket launcher. It was literally the coding was literally you were throwing a rocket instead of a rocket launcher.
And then, obviously, when you clear out the station, and then you realise that you get to the last part of the level where you've got the bomb surrounded by 7 elites.
Yeah, there's a lot of elites there.
That on Legendary was horrible.
Oh yeah, because you had golden elites in there as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Legendary and silvers. Whereas on easy and normal, you just had blues. Normal, you had 3 blues and a couple of reds.
Yeah.
Heroic, you've got I think it's a silver or a gold, and then a couple of reds and a few blues.
I'm very sure the white one was more powerful than the gold, wasn't it?
Was
I
it?
could be wrong.
They had the white ones for the jump packs outside, didn't they?
But that was fun.
Yeah.
But
I wish I had the jump pack. That's what I used to think.
And then the other great line from Halo 2 was just like when the chief realizes it, he's like, oh wait, bomb, Covenant supercarrier,
Oh,
sir, permission to leave the
idea.
station to give the Covenant back their bomb.
You know
That
that line. You know that line in Hot Fuzz where Simon Pegg, he literally just looks really intensely and just says, "Idea." It's that moment, isn't it? Chief
yeah,
looks at the bomb and he's just like, "Idea."
light bulb.
Literally. And then a halo ring comes above his head. Oh.
So then, after he essentially wipes out the entire carrier,
Yeah. All
floods
by
onto
himself.
the
Yeah.
UNSC ship.
Flies onto oh god, what's the ship called?
Oh,
Oh Jesus.
oh God, we should have done more research. I don't know, but
We suck.
it's Key's
Yeah.
daughter that's the captain of
His
it.
ship. I'll remember in a minute. Yeah.
Which is the other thing is like for a brick, he flew pretty good.
Yeah, literally. It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah. Which is the other thing as well. Is like that it does emphasize the fact that when I looked up, apparently Chief with his armor on, he weighs nearly 1,000 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and he's like, isn't he like 7'8" when he's in the armor or something? He's like
Something like that.
seven foot
Ridiculous.
two without the armor, and like 7'8" with the armor. That's it. UNSC in amberclad.
Yes.
That's it.
They always had
I've remembered
strange
it.
names for the ships, didn't they?
Yeah. What? Pillar of Autumn.
Yeah.
I used to think, where's the Pillar of Spring?
Forward unto Dawn. I think the
Mhm.
Infinity was the most simplest one, which really summed it up because it
Bloody
was
huge.
the biggest one in the fleet.
The biggest one ever made. It's ridiculously big.
So then we finally get on Earth. Oh,
Mm.
that was
Oh yeah. Yeah. You
that was our
think
first sight of the Scarab as well, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. That's. I tell you what. If any of you haven't played Halo 2 Anniversary in the Master Chief Collection, I would literally buy that game for those cutscenes, or
Oh,
you know, just go on YouTube,
Uh,
because that cutscene that Murph just brought up, where you first see the Scarab, that what 343 and the studio that did the I can't remember, is it Ensemble Studios who did the
No, you're thinking the Ensemble Studios did the cutscenes for Halo Wars,
yeah
I
you're right.
believe, or did they actually make the game? Oh God, I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that was Halo Wars, but the company that did those cutscenes have done such an incredible job. If anyone can just find them on YouTube and just watch those cutscenes, because is it? I think Keys or Hood brings up something. Why did the Covenant just land here on Earth? And then Sergeant Johnson goes on this massive rant, and it's like, because this is the only place we got to land, and they regret that the Corps just blew up our raggedy ass fleet, and then all the Marines and him just at once say "Hoorah!" It's just such a brilliant Johnson moment. And just to apologise in advance, ladies and gentlemen, we had a few Johnson moments in the last podcast. We're gonna have some in this podcast.
Johnson, the legend
we're
of Halo.
gonna have some in Halo 3 and ODST. So you know. Just bear with us for the Johnson moments, because we are Johnson fanboys. I know I certainly am. Love a bit of Johnson.
I remember though when that cutscene first came up, and sure enough, I was like, "Oh my God, that thing is huge." But then my second thought was, "Do I get to kill it?"
Yeah. Literally, do I get to go on it? Do I get to kill it? Do I get to drive it?
Oh
And
God.
I think that's one thing missing from the Halo games. You can't drive a Scarab. Where's my Scarab?
Oh,
That would be amazing.
that would be.
Anyway,
So
yeah.
we're in, I think it's Mombasa, so it's Africa.
Yep,
Where we
New
land.
Mombasa. Yep, you know, there's a lot of Halo 3 going on there as well. New Mombasa. There's also, that's the Halo 3 ODST. That's where that's also based.
I have to say though that given the environment artists did a really good job portraying a future Earth.
Yeah, yeah. It's not it's not ridiculous. It's it's plausible.
It's grounded, yeah.
Yeah, it's really plausible, which I like.
It's like even just the like where you first land on Earth, it's typically just like a normal street or something, but
Yeah, you almost recognize it.
yeah.
Yeah, you almost recognize it. Other than that massive orbital defense platform lift going up in the middle of the city.
But to be fair,
I was like, wait a minute, I haven't seen that when I went to Africa.
orbital defense platforms have been touched upon a lot in sci-fi.
Yeah, they have, haven't they?
Yeah.
Well,
I've,
there's an argument that the International Space Station will become the first one. There's always been talk, however ridiculous it is, of arming it, just in case something comes out of the black.
what, in case Independence Day gets actually made into real life?
It's all right. Will Smith will save us.
Even though he's not in the second movie.
No, he's not, is he?
No.
Have you seen it? Is that out yet?
No, I've seen the trailer, so I do want to go and see it.
No, I haven't seen. Oh, I've seen the trailers.
And that's the other thing. The buggers, the flying enemy, they were annoying as hell.
I tell you what, there was on the Halo website when Bungie was still doing it. I think it was during Halo 3 time. They put up a questionnaire on the website. What's your worst enemy to face? Which one do you dislike facing the most? And Halo 1 is hunters. They're the most powerful. You get too close, they're gonna smash you over the head. And if you're on the moor and one of them, and you're in those tiny little, tunnels, and one of them gets in there, you're scared. I remember playing that one as a kid, and one of them had got in the tunnel with me. I didn't know where he was. I'd run out of flashlight, and I was like, ah! I was literally scared. I managed to get out of it and get into a room on the end. The hunter follows me, and it's the tiny, tiny little room, and it's just one of those little rooms that they put in with a little bit more ammo in. I think it had a couple of AR mags, a Magnum, and a couple of grenades. He comes in behind me and just squats me. I don't think I've ever been so scared in a Halo game before. But yeah, back to the point. They did a questionnaire on who would you least like to face, and I think there was literally only 2 enemies were voted for out of the whole franchise, and that was hunters and the buggers. And the buggers got 73% of the vote.
Yeah,
and that's how annoying they were. They got that much of the vote. Hunters got 27%. None of the other enemies were even considered.
No. Because at times you didn't know whether to try a precision weapon or try the SMG.
Yeah, and if you're close range, you tried melee or...
I remember I used to melee the ones in the first level when they started rising up, and I would follow it up with the melee lock on, going to like double, triple jump height. I'm like, oh, shit.
Where's my jetpack? I'm gonna die.
But yeah, just I don't know what to say about the campaign. I mean, I was gripped all the way through. There was never a really boring part of it. It was brilliant.
No, it was a fantastic bit of storytelling as well. Because another good thing about it is, obviously, you got Covenant on Covenant effectively.
Yeah.
The Arbiter is only created to kill the heretic.
Yeah.
And, later on, Arbiter becomes the heretic in effect, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So, there's some amazing twists and turns in Halo 2. It was done with epic proportion. And Murph and I were talking about this before we started recording. One of the iconic bits about becoming the Arbiter was in Halo CE, you never got to use a sword. You never got to use a fuel rod. And in that very first mission that you're the Arbiter, you get dropped out of that Phantom. And the first weapon you have is a sword. And that's just an epic moment. And then you find out you've got like 15 seconds of invisibility as well.
Oh yeah, that was too powerful.
Yeah, it's incredible. You get your sword out, get your invis out, and you're slaying.
But every person who plays Halo 5 right now would just love that setup.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, just get on free for all and truth, and you find it. Jesus.
But then through the campaign, obviously, we typically leave Earth, which was actually I thought was quite a shocking part. I thought the entire game for the Chief side was going to take place on Earth.
Yeah. Off to another installation.
Yeah, when Regret makes a slip space jump right in the middle of a damn city.
Yeah, I mean, people complain about REF tornadoes making the sonic sound boom, and what are people going to be complaining about there? I mean, come on.
I'm pretty sure if you make a slip space jump in orbit, it destroys nearly everything around you. I could be wrong
Yeah,
for the science of it, or fiction
yeah.
science.
I have no idea, but it's quite a good little moment, isn't it? Really, that they're jumping inside the city. You've got them on the run, and in amberclads, you know, full power going through the structural base of the orbital tower to get into the slip space.
And then we come across my probably apart from the Spartans, my favourite people in the Halo
Yeah,
universe,
I know
the
what you're talking about. Yeah,
ODSTs.
hell,
Oh my
hell,
god.
where you been?
I'm sorry, but I just love the idea of people who are so suicidal they will drop from a ship to go down in orbit in a can.
Yeah, and literally a can that's got the most stupidest design parachute type thing that's supposed to slow you down on the planet.
And
It's ridiculous.
there was an interesting part of it. I remember because when I did watch all the cutscenes again, remastered, when Chief gets in the drop pod, you see Sergeant walking along and just knocking on the drop pod, and Chief knocks back. It's like, and he doesn't do it with any of the other troopers, but
Mm.
you get that feeling. It's like, okay, we're on another ring. The two of us have survived this, so we're going to be fine.
Yeah, literally.
There's a bit of brotherhood there between those two.
Oh yeah, and I think there's a lot of respect there as well.
Yeah,
Because I can't imagine, not through arrogance and stuff like that Chief respects a lot of his fellow soldiers because they're probably gonna die. He's not. You know,
I think.
Johnson sticks with him for 3 games.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert if no one's played Halo 3.
Why would they even be listening to this if they haven't played Halo?
That's a very good point.
But I think that's the other thing is oh my god, I totally forgot what I was going to say. My
What
damn
up,
it.
Bev? You
It's
idiot.
that it's the dynamic. Remember when we talked about why they didn't do like in-game dialogue with Chief because they
Yeah,
wanted you to feel like you were in the suit.
yeah.
But I always felt like I had to save the Marines,
Oh, I always did too.
and
I think it's a horrible feeling watching your race die when you're playing against another race. I mean, when you're playing like Call of Duty or Battlefront, you don't care so much. But when you're playing Halo, you want your Marines to stay alive, and there's quite often achievements, isn't there?
I used to measure how many lived past certain points in missions.
Hmm.
But I
Quite
think as
often,
well that's
I'd
how the
actually,
Chief feels.
yeah, yeah, I completely agree. I think he wants to protect his soldiers because he knows that at the end of the day, without him, they're probably going to die.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, it's another clever dynamic. I know we've said that, or I've said that phrase so many times, but it really is. There's so many clever kind of bits in Halo that are so essential to its success.
Yeah. There's little story net bits and emotional parts
Mm.
that's I don't think any other shooter really grasps it.
Yeah,
It doesn't tug on the heartstrings the same way that other shooters do.
exactly.
Apart from when Soap McTavish died in Modern Warfare 3 and they
Oh,
cried.
yeah. Captain Price goes mental as well, and he just throws Yuri down the
It's
stairs.
like, why did you kill the Scotsman?
You
Why?
never kill a Scotsman. He was my
Um,
only friend.
I'm
He
trying to
was
think
a
of.
real boy.
Obviously, we get the flood involved
Yeah,
during the campaign.
yeah. We end up in Halo 4, which you probably hadn't seen many times before that. You had at one point 4 factions in the same game,
Yeah,
and that's especially back then. That was a huge kind of thing. You had, especially for console gaming. You had a flood, the humans, then the elites, and the odd stray hunters that
yeah. Whichever
went
part
with
each species went
yeah,
on their side.
yeah. But you had the elites, and then the Covenant. That's 4 factions. And you when you work it out, each faction was always, I think I've got this right, always against 3 others.
Well, the Flood is obviously against them.
Yeah.
Um, I think for not physically against, but they still didn't think. I think the Separatists still viewed the humans in their mind as
Yeah,
enemies.
exactly.
They
That's
never
what
faced them, but
And I think that because they were, they were always very wary. Because you had that point where I think I can't remember. Is it? No, it's Halo 3, isn't it? There's that cutscene where Johnson picks up a load of Covenant elite weapons and then takes it to his Marines, and then Arbiter picks up a load of human weapons and gives it to the elites. Even though they're on the same side, there's that kind of aggression there.
yeah.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, you've got humans versus Flood and Covenant, and wary of the elites. You've got Flood versus humans, elites, and Covenant. You've got Covenant versus humans, elites, and Flood. There's a huge kind of cross section there.
I think as well, just thinking about that right now, that was a very dangerous thing to do story-wise. And
Yeah,
essentially, I don't know how long it takes to finish Halo, but I just call it an 8-hour game.
yeah, yeah. It's a good, if you if you're enjoying the mission like you should, and you're not doing a speed run, it's a good. I don't know. Halo 2's missions are quite short, really, aren't they? But I think there's 15 of them, and say a good half an hour a mission,
Yeah.
unless you're doing a speed run. So it's like you say, it's a good solid session. But anyway, let's move on. We're not here to analyze every single part of the campaign, but
We have to talk about the
it was
cliffhanger.
incredible. Yeah, we'll finish on the cliffhanger.
What was your first impressions when you got to the cliffhanger?
I don't know. I don't know. It's. I'm trying to remember that initial reaction. What about you?
Um, it was really immature. It was just like, what the fuck? And then, like, my mind just went straight towards what they'd be doing with the next one. But at the
Yeah,
same time, I was silently raging. I was just like, how, with all the hype, could you possibly end it on that?
mm.
Because just the dialogue finished this fight. You're
Yeah.
like,
What are you
yes,
doing in that ship, Master Chief?
last 1 or 2 missions where we're gonna
Finishing
fucking
this
nail
fucking.
everything.
Yeah. And it's horrible that I always used to hate the fact when I was younger, because it's the same kind of mentality as leaving the Marines behind and letting them die. I didn't want to leave Cortana behind.
Of course you didn't.
Like, why would you leave your sexy AI behind? And can I just say, she was hot in Halo 4 and she was hot in Halo 2 Anniversary.
Jesus, we need to get you a woman. We really need to. One that you can actually touch. So yeah, because essentially they actually a lot of people, I don't know how many people have actually looked it up for the cliffhanger, but they did have the ending on Halo 2,
Mm,
but they had to cut it
yeah. Mm.
because they were getting so close to the deadline. And that was actually that was another thing that IGN noticed later on, like when I think they just had a look back, was that there was still some polishing to be made on Halo 2.
Yeah.
Like what I said with the texture popping and stuff,
Mm,
that could have been
yeah.
fixed, but the world, and I will say the world was on Bungie's shoulders for making that game.
Oh yeah. But
So much.
some facts that we looked up earlier, ladies and gentlemen. Halo 5 had 1.5 million pre-orders
Halo 2.
before its release. Halo 2, sorry. Halo 2. Good correction there, Murph. Good spot. I was testing you. Not. Um, yeah, Halo 2 had 1.5 million pre-orders before its release. And that makes it a platinum hit before it's even been released. Now, a lot of games nowadays don't even do that. So that was an incredible feat, first of all. It also made $125 million in its first day of release. And then it also started the red versus blue trade, which was an amazing kind of thing in Halo 2.
Just while you're still in the sales and that, at its time, it was the biggest entertainment release of all time.
Yeah.
It trumped movies, everything.
Mm. Trump
The,
Spider-Man 3.
the amount of midnight releases, and I'm sure, I don't know if they did it over here in Britain, but over in the US, like news crews and everything were all around midnight
Yeah.
stores watching this because there was folk who did these amazing costumes as Master Chief and everything, lining up to get this game. And
Yeah.
if I remember rightly, one chain of stores sold like 8,500 in the space of 11 minutes.
Yeah, well, you talk about the US and Canada. We've got another statistic here. 2.4 million copies of the game were sold in the first 24 hours of its release, and that averages to 27 copies a second.
Wow.
That's how popular that game was.
You couldn't even do cards that quickly, let alone game cases.
Yeah, exactly. It's you know, can you imagine how quickly people were having to be served in shops at that point?
Could you imagine the strain on it? Like, we've run out of copies! We've run out of copies!
Then you just get a load of mad people in Master Chief suits running around game, like shouting.
Oh, that would have been hilarious. Oh wow. So we could say that the cliffhanger was controversial.
Yeah, it was. It's similar to the Halo 5 ending.
Yeah, it paved the way for the
Yeah.
end of the trilogy.
Halo 2 paved the way for 3. Halo 5 is paving the way for 6. It's Halo 2 did it better than 5, I have to say.
I know that a lot of people, because I didn't have Xbox Live until I think it was, what must be 6, 7 months after its initial release. I know a lot of people would have felt the same as me, where it's like, why? And then instantly like, oh look, multiplayer. Let's try this out. But I used to just play local games with any of my friends, like literally 4-player free-for-alls when your screen size is minuscule.
Oh god. Yeah, because your tellies were back then.
And it was always my friend we were always at his house, and he always felt the need to put on Invis and Rockets, and it's like, this is fun. But I just used to watch videos on the internet of people like playing just normal matchmaking, and I was just like, I was digging at the heels to get Xbox Live. I was probably like fucking beating my dad, literally just like, get me Xbox Live, please. And I got it, and then my first ever, I didn't know what to do. Like, my first ever game was Free For All and Lockout, and I ended up winning it, and I was just like, I was hooked. I was like, I love this. Yeah. Oh my god. I beat people from other countries.
Now, can I just say, ladies and gentlemen, I completely agree with Murph, because I played local a lot with a lot of my friends. But where I live, at that point in time, we were still on a dial-up connection, so there was no way in hell I was going to be ever playing the multiplayer on Halo 2. I mean, I didn't get multiplayer until the end of Halo 3's lifetime, so I was even late to Halo 3 multiplayer. But those maps you got to play, even on local play, even on split screen,
oh yeah,
so much fun. Like, I used to love Ivory Tower. I was very,
I think a lot of people did, man.
I was so excited when that even came back in Halo Reach. I mean, that was great fun. It was great fun. And that's a good thing about Halo Reach, is they actually made it into a mission as well.
I think, well, give me a second to look up the maps. Lockout was my number one.
Yeah, they brought that back in Halo 3 as well, didn't they?
Beaver Creek. That was a fun map.
Beaver Creek, yeah, that was... What was it called in Halo 1? Halo CA? Because it was very similar, wasn't it?
Was it out Halo 1? Oh, Battle Creek,
Creek, yeah.
I didn't even know.
Battle Creek in Halo 1, Beaver Creek in Halo 2.
Ascension with the satellite dish, that was a good map.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Well, I'm literally just looking through the maps right now. Coagulation, which was the remake of Blood Gulch.
Yeah, Midship. You can't forget Midship.
Oh god, no.
No.
Looking at just looking at the photo for it looks so different compared to Truth on Halo 5.
Yeah, and Heretic on Halo 3 as well. There's a lot of changes there.
And I'm sorry, when we come to maps, we have to talk about Zanzibar for single flag CTF.
Oh, wow.
So, you probably, I don't know if, well, did you actually play any Halo 2 multiplayer at all when it first came out?
No, not literally no multiplayer. No multiplayer, but we did delve in the custom games.
Oh my, single flag on Zanzibar was, oh my god. I can't even explain, because this, not, like, for any younger viewers, back when Xbox Live first came out, you were given a headset, so everybody was talking. Everybody. You don't get, like, nowadays where you'll get, like, what, out of like a group of 7 randoms, if you were in an 8-player game, you maybe get 1, maybe 2, unless
Yeah.
they're grouped together themselves, but they'll be in party chat. There was
Mm.
no such thing as party chat, so you could hear everyone. The shouting, the clutch moments on Zanzibar single flag was, oh, it was incredible. And that satellite, not the satellite dish, the ring
Yeah.
where the sword was in the center. And the
Oh
minute,
yeah.
oh, and I think that was the other thing as well. See, in Halo 2, you got proximity voice, where if you were close to an enemy, you could hear him speaking. And I remember trying to sneak up on the left-hand side of the base to get the flag, and I could hear them talking. I'm like, "Hello there."
Hello, little piggers. Somebody's
and,
about to bring home the bacon.
and you could hear people like swearing at you and everything when they were teabagging you when they killed you.
Get away from it. But that started competitive gaming.
I'm sorry, but that
Halo 2
started
was the
that
first.
started online console gaming by far.
Yeah, yeah. That started esports. Halo 2 was, you hear all the big Halo names like Snipe Down and stuff like that. They all started on Halo 2.
Ogre Twins.
Yeah, all stuff like that. I mean, I actually watched a Snipe Down montage the other day with, a lot of it was Halo 2 snipes, and my God, that guy's good. If you've ever played Snipe Down, keep him away from the sniper, for God's sake.
I've had the pleasure of playing with him, and I
Yeah.
perfected him once, and I will remember that for probably the rest of my
Yeah.
days. We got annihilated though.
He
It was
wasn't.
on.
He wasn't playing, was he? He went to the toilet.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't that because you get a lot of people on Xbox Live who will technically like copy a pro player's gamer tag, but you can't fully copy it.
No.
And I'm sitting there with our friend Vino, and she's like, "Wait, is that sniped in? That can't be sniped." And it's like, "Oh my God, it is! Oh my God!" And we were just so excited just to be playing pros. I mean, we didn't care if we win or lose.
I
Yeah.
don't. It's a hell of a point because it's quite iconic when you come up against pro. Now I don't know what I told you yet, Matt, but Ethan and I were in the same party at the time. But I played Pistola the other day.
No way.
Yeah, on free fall and got absolutely destroyed.
I'm glad he's back to like full health because he actually I can't remember if it was a win or loss, but at one event he slammed his hands on the table and broke his hand.
What was that the Halo 4 Championship?
It might have been.
That wasn't the final, was it? Because it was Flame versus was it Flame Sword versus?
No, it was
Ace Pistola.
yeah.
Ace Pistola, yeah, yeah. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is where Halo multiplayer started, and
Oh, it was incredible.
it was probably the most iconic multiplayer game at the time. It invented the party system. Something which was brought in by PS4 afterwards. That's how good the party system was. PlayStation copied Xbox. That hasn't happened that many times. I mean, let's be honest.
I hate it. I hate doing this podcast actually because I've got all these old memories coming back.
Nostalgia.
I'm really getting hit by nostalgia right now. It hurts me so much to say we'll never get a time like Halo 2 back.
No. Halo, like, probably no console game will ever be as good multiplayer wise as Halo 2.
It was just
And that's a big statement to make, but it's in all aspects. In certain aspects, that's true.
it was the social boom.
Yeah.
It's like I started meeting people from like the States and everything, and it was incredible, really. It really was, because I was in real life, I'm probably a very shy person. Like, if I meet a stranger, like somebody, you ever get that time when you're at a friend's house and there's somebody you've never met and you're both just left there? Silence. Whereas on Xbox
To be
Live,
fair, I'm the opposite. I'm just the idiot who doesn't stop talking.
yeah, I know that. I think by the time we get to like the 5th episode, everyone's gonna know that.
I think everyone already knows that now.
Yeah. But
Anyway, carry on.
it was just such an incredible time.
Mm.
And it was strange for me because whenever me and my friends did the stupid lockout invis rockets, I'd always get my ass handed to me.
Yeah.
But oh my God,
But it's
I
so
wiped the
fun.
floor with them on matchmaking so bad.
Yeah. It's so much fun. But that's the thing, when you get down to core, just gaming for enjoyment.
Yeah.
That's where it is. Playing with your friends. And Halo 2 introduced that. Being able to, not even text your friend back then, ring him up on the home phone.
Were you coming over for
Yeah, you coming
split screen?
over, or you getting on Halo? You getting on Xbox Live and play some Halo? I mean, I never got to do that myself on Halo 2, but
I mean, I'll admit as well, I had a pretty poor internet connection when that happened, but the servers they built were outstanding.
I was going to say, don't blame your connection, Murph. You still do that now.
Fuck you. I can still wipe the floor with you.
Who lagged out a game earlier?
Hey, I led that last game. You wouldn't have won if I wasn't in there.
Oh, I would. Easy.
Okay, right. Right now, while we're recording this podcast, do you want to put up the scoreboard for our last game that we properly had?
I still went positive by a good amount.
I went 24-8, my first game, even though I had a beer and a half, and the rest of our group, who are all English, went Medicore. It's what happens when you put a Scotsman in the room.
Hey. I got more assists than you did.
To be fair, when I first came online today, I actually blared the Halo 2 theme by Steve Vai, the electric guitar one,
Yeah.
into the headset, and I was like, I'm trying to put you in the beast mode. I was like, no, I did it myself.
There's me listening to Cotton Eye Joe.
So,
Where'd you come from? Where'd you go?
so yeah, I mean, Halo 2 multiplayer went strong for years.
Yeah.
It was the top of the most played for, I think it was 2 or 3 years before the first Gears came along.
Oh yeah. I have no idea when Gears 1 was.
I used to still play the hell out of it, even on the 360 before Halo 3 came out.
Yeah.
It was a sad day when they shut down the servers for it. It was really sad.
Wait, when was Halo? When did Halo 3 come out? Was that 2007?
It was 2007, I think. Late 2007.
Yeah, Gears of War. The first Gears of War was Xbox 360, and that was 2006. Yeah, was Xbox 360 2005, wasn't it?
No, must have been. Yeah, it must have been. So it was.
No, must have been. Yeah, I think Xbox 360 release dates. It was 22nd of November 2005. So yeah, Halo 2 was 2004, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
yes, it was literally the year before the Xbox 360 came out, and then obviously Halo 3 was 2 years later. So you had that 3-year period between Halo 2 and Halo 3, 2 years of which was on a newer generation. So people who still
I don't know. I still think there
old.
was 2 years on the old Xbox for Halo 2.
Was there?
I think, yeah, it had to have been. Come on, Xbox wouldn't have released a new platform a year after they brought out Halo 2. It had to have been longer.
Right, let's have a look. 22nd November to November 9th. So it was a year and 13 days. That's all it was. A year and 13 days.
That can't be right.
Yeah. Look it up, man. Halo 2, November 9th, 2004. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what he says to his wife in bed.
I am going to teabag until your body disappears next time I'm free for all you.
That's also what you say to your wife.
She'd probably wipe the floor with you anyway. She's a secret goddess on Halo 5.
Yeah, was that her playing earlier?
Yeah. She just pushed me aside, give me the controller, give me the controller.
Give me the controller. I want a great perf. What?
You wish. But anyway, anything else with Halo 2?
Anyway, back to Halo.
Anyway, anything else we could go on with Halo 2? Because I know we've not went really in depth with this one, but to be honest, last episode was 2 hours, and it exhausted us to the point where we couldn't even play afterwards.
Yeah. If any of you had the joy of playing against us after the last podcast, it It would have been very easy.
If anybody actually listened the whole way through, all 2 hours, I salute you and thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much for
I'd
listening.
like to point out, but just before we started this podcast, we have 17 views on the
Yeah,
first
oh yeah.
episode.
And it did only go up 2 days ago, and it's 18 views. We've got another one.
Whoa!
The dizzy heights of a brand new YouTube channel.
Oh,
Yeah. So I think we're done for Halo 2, aren't we?
yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we shall move on to our
Our news feed.
choice of news for today's podcast, which is no, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, Murph is not the news.
Yeah.
The news is actually Battlefield 1.
Oh wow. Right before we get started, last podcast we did Infinite Warfare.
Yeah. And Murph, can I just interject and say that I hate you for leaving me hanging? Then
I love you too.
we're no longer friends.
Fuck you.
I love you too.
Another thing that I wanted to point out was actually, I don't know why, but this year, likes and dislikes on YouTube can actually really tell. Like
Yeah.
I've paid attention to it more, and
Yeah.
COD Infinite Warfare as of today.
Yes, and about an hour and a half ago, ladies and gentlemen, we got these stats.
Likes 295,691. Dislikes 1,591,987.
Yeah. So
Wow.
six times the amount of people, almost 6 times the amount of people dislike COD compared to liking it. That's we were debating this earlier. Is that because Infinite Warfare is going too futuristic, which is something we debated in the last podcast in the news section at the end?
Yep.
Or is it because they are forcing you to buy Infinite Warfare to get Modern Warfare 4? I think it's quite possible that it's more the latter, but I think it is a mixture of both.
Yeah, it definitely is. But at the same time, we do need like it's hard to say actually because you're trying to judge the likes and dislikes of so many people.
Yeah.
Whereas I know while I listen to people's criticisms and their praise, I will generally wait to see things or play things myself before I decide.
Yeah. But let's just clear that out, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, we are 5-6 months before a release, so we are simply going off likes and dislikes off YouTube, which is something we noticed earlier. But it's still a big indication of what people's preliminary thoughts are.
Yeah. It's like the new Ghostbusters movie. That's been panned by people who have just viewed the trailer.
Yeah, yeah. To be fair, I really do hope the trailer hasn't done it justice though, because I don't think the trailer is very good.
I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to pay to see it. I'm not going to pay to see it.
No.
I mean, sure enough, there were good movies back then, but I just don't feel the same thing when I watch the trailer.
No, the same vibe.
Yeah.
Mm. The original music's so good though.
And I think the other thing was that one of the cast was actually the writer for the original Ghostbusters, and he sadly passed away.
Oh, well, rest in peace, sir.
But anyway, back on to more joyful things. COD, Kiddie Rage, and
yeah.
The thing is,
14-year-old Rampage.
We've always had this thing between Battlefield and COD. They've always been fighting each other necessarily for player base.
And let's be honest, COD's always been ahead.
Yeah.
COD has always been ahead. But a question, we kind of wanted to pose to you guys was, will this be the turning point?
Yeah, will this be the time that COD is finally dethroned as the penultimate gaming shooter experience? Almost like
because
gaming.
It's almost dethroning itself as the kind of realistic shooter. Because Call of Duty and they've never been realistic, but they've always been put in realistic settings with realistic guns, realistic kind of powers, realistic
stories,
kind of stories, yeah. Unless you include Black Ops in that, but it's dethroning itself. That's my opinion. I think this is going to be a big success for Battlefield, and I think this is a hell of a year for Battlefield to release a good game, because it's going to make more of an effect this year than it would if Call of Duty was bringing out you know, what people were viewing as a good game. Because I bet that off those views, if we say, a portion of those of the likes and dislikes would normally pre-order that game,
Yeah.
How many people? How what? I bet the difference between pre-orders on Halo. Yeah, I think that the difference is huge.
One thing I will point out is when I was looking in the Xbox store after I saw the trailer was, I could be wrong, but the version you need to get Modern Warfare is £95.
Yeah, yeah.
That you
Does
do
that
get the
include the
season pass.
season pass? Yeah.
Yeah, that does include the season pass, but I do believe that you have to get that version to get Modern Warfare. I could be wrong. I probably am, but
I've got a feeling that you're almost there. I've got a feeling there's another package that's £80 that you get Infinite Warfare, Modern Warfare, no season pass. I'm
yeah.
not sure, but I've got a feeling that's the only other option. But obviously, that's still £80, ladies and gentlemen. That's still, that's
So
still a
that's
sizable amount.
That's 2 games.
Yeah, that is 2 games.
Um,
But and just to link this back to Halo Master Chief Collection, even though the multiplayer was we will admit broken off release, but there was four studios working on it, but there's no excuse. But you
Actually, no.
got that for
Sorry, Harv.
£44.
I have to stop you there. There is an excuse. They shouldn't have done it in the
Yeah,
first place.
yeah,
If you get 4 games with different states of play, different engines, and put them all in a single matchmaking system, it's going to crash.
yeah.
I'm sorry, it will.
They needed another 6 months.
Yeah, at the very least.
Yeah, they needed another 6 months. About 6 months after it was released,
They
it
needed
was
to do a
working
beta.
well. Yeah, they did. But the point was of that you got 4 complete, and Halo games aren't short; they are big games.
Yeah.
And you got ODST in for free afterwards because of the problems that the Master Chief Collection had. You got 5 games in for £44. Call of Duty is selling you 2 games for 80 minimum,
Let's be
95 if you get the season pass. Which when on a game like that, you're gonna want the season pass.
let's be honest though, COD has never been cheap.
No,
It's Activision. I mean, they did the same thing with Destiny.
Yeah, they did. They did.
It's the thing where but every year they release a game which is £40, and they'll bring out a season pass for that, which is, I don't know, was it 30, something like that? It
Yeah,
could be.
it's 20-30 quid, isn't it?
And you're forced to get the season pass
Yeah,
because
because it's that kind of game.
no, but it divides the player base for the
Yeah.
haves and have-nots. That's why Halo 5 right now has all these free DLCs, so they keep everyone in the same player pool.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Where and I hope this catches on. Halo 5, it's all free DLC. There are micropayments through rec packs, but you're not forced into doing them. It doesn't give people who do it a huge advantage. And the micropayments and paid DLC, I hope will soon be a thing of the past, because it's just like you say, it's the people that have and the people that haven't.
I'm sorry, but there are certain DLCs I would pay for.
Oh yeah, no, I completely agree.
Right.
But it would just be nice if that was a thing of the past, because I think Call of Duty are shooting themselves in the foot. And I hope Battlefront 1 is incredible as that trailer looks. And I mean, if none of you have seen the trailer, go
Please,
straight
yes,
to Battlefield's
please.
YouTube channel, because Murph and I both agreed. We watched it once more before we did the start of the podcast. It looks incredible. And it looks incredible. So, let's move on to the content of that trailer.
Wait, just before we go, and I completely forgot what I was going to say just before we did that. The thing, yeah, that was the thing between Battlefield and COD. Like I've said, they've always been pretty much at war for player bases, because they've both essentially tapped into the same theme. Is that Battlefield has their own season pass premium, which, in my opinion, it is the same price roughly. You get so much more with it. You get every map pack 2 weeks early. You get loads of extra stuff to show that you're a premium member. It's not just that. Sorry, Battlefield's a better game.
Yeah, it plays more realistically as well. I mean, the last one I played, I have to admit, I didn't get Battlefield 4. I can't remember what the reasoning was at the time. But I got Battlefield 3, and it it's like in between kind of full spectrum warrior and Call of Duty.
Yeah,
It's that next level of realism, but it doesn't take itself quite so seriously as those, super serious shooters.
it's what I said to a friend of mine when Battlefield 4 first came out well, we were on 360. It's like, you want to know what it feels like to be in a war zone? Go play Battlefield.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but visually and most importantly, which is always an underlooked part by people who play games, is the audio. The audio for Battlefield
It's
games, what
incredible.
is amazing. You're hiding behind cover, and literally 2 feet above you, you can hear bullets literally crack
Yeah.
off the wall.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's absolutely
You
fantastic.
can hear other
Yeah.
other people's characters shouting across stuff, and it's amazing. It's so visceral. It's so immersive.
Yeah, that's a key word there, Muff. Immersive. That's a really key word, and that's how I would describe Battlefield myself. There was a documentary, not a, kind of a documentary, but that kind of program on Channel 4 a few years ago. And it was in the time of Battlefield 3, sorry, and they had got, if British viewers have probably recognised the name Andy McNabb, the former SAS soldier.
Yeah.
They brought him on the program. They covered his face, like they have to do. And they built I think it was a gadget show actually. Yes, it was a gadget show, and they built a kind of virtual reality kind of dome, and there was a load of rollers connected to treadmills on the floor, so we could move. They put at that time kind of a version of VR on his face.
A version of Oculus.
Yeah, pretty much. I expect it probably was, but we're talking maybe 5-6 years ago now, so not quite as advanced. But and they gave him a kind of gun, and he was able to walk around this treadmill, back, forward, sideways. He was able to jump. He was able to and he was able to shoot his gun all linked up, and he was in this fantastic dome, and he kind of praised that game so much for not direct realism, but realism for a video game, and that's what Battlefield gives you over.
That's from an SAS veteran
Yeah,
as well.
that's from an SAS veteran, and Americans might disagree with this because they dealt with Delta squads
And SEALs.
SEAL Team 6, but the stats do not lie. Technically, the SAS are the best in the world. So that comes from one of the best soldiers on the planet, and that's a statement. That's a hell of a statement about Battlefield. And if Battlefield 1 can recreate that realism in World War One, I am hugely excited.
First of all, I think Battlefield's probably its fault is campaigns.
Yeah.
Apart from Bad Company, which both of those had amazing campaigns.
Oh god, that game is good.
The last two, 3 and 4, the campaigns have been, they've been good.
Good
but
shooting campaigns, but they're not
they're not
the best
long.
stories. Yeah.
They're not the best stories, and they're not the best use of what they've got.
Yeah.
Essentially.
But I think that unfortunately for DICE, I don't think.
That's their strong suit. No.
Yeah, the storytelling's not their best strong suit. I mean, DICE obviously did Star Wars Battlefront, the newest one. There's no story. Like, they didn't even attempt it.
It's a shame, actually.
And I think that kind of, I think it really is, and I think that kind of shows off, DICE's approach to stories that they almost half-assed. But Murph kind of brought this point up earlier before we started the podcast, that if they get this story right, this could be one of the best games of all time.
I wouldn't go that far, but
I think that's what I'd say. But going off your comment of what, how good it could be.
Yeah, because essentially, in the old Call of Duty days, I'll go there. World War II has been touched upon too much, which we talked about before.
Yeah.
I didn't expect them to do World War One. I was shocked by it.
But I think that's part of the potential of it. I
Yeah,
think that really is part of the potential. The fact that they are going there. I mean, what did we talk about? We talked about Vietnam, Korea, the possibility of going into that, didn't we,
yeah.
last week? Um, but World War One excites me. It really excites me. Do you want to break down the trailer, man?
Um, God, Battlefield trailers are really hard to break down. Actually, I mean, you get that you see different aspects of warfare in World War One. I mean, the first
Yeah,
thing I want to talk about is trench warfare, which, from a multiplayer aspect, I think of Battlefield from a multiplayer aspect is it's
it's good.
you could think
Yeah,
of how to do it, but then you're
it'd
wondering,
be hard to achieve.
yeah, to get
It'd be hard to do it brilliantly.
yeah to get such things as balance right, and then you've got map design.
Yeah.
You've also got the weapons as well. I mean, as much as much as video games try and portray warfare, warfare is never fair.
No,
It
there
never is.
literally is. There's no. People say all's fair in love and war, but
Wow,
that's an ironic statement,
I'm
isn't
sure a fucking 5-year-old brought up that statement.
it? Yeah, I think that statement is meant ironically. Um,
Um,
yeah, it's if they can manage a way to do it well, I think it'll be really good. If they don't put enough effort into it,
we
that
have
could be a killer.
we have obviously planes, which all the ace pilots at Battlefield will love to get their hands in it. Though
Yeah,
I'm very sure I could be wrong with World War One planes. You had to have a second guy in the back on the gun.
yeah, yeah. I don't think there might have been a couple of ships with a gun, but I think you're right. I think most of them had a turret, effectively, don't they?
We have a horse. We have a
Yeah. We have
horse.
a horse, and we have a guy with a machete on top as well. Or not machete, but a sword on top,
Yeah.
which is another interesting thing. And then you get the original tank, and I'm just proving my Britishness here that we did invent the tank.
Yes, the English, I'll say,
The
invented a
British,
giant mailbox that rolls around that they can hide in.
British, you were in there too.
Whereas we all know Scotsmen just love to strip their shirts off and charge into battle no matter what era with a
Oh,
giant sword screaming
shut up!
freedom.
You were at the back with your bagpipes, playing a
Hey,
song.
I was at the back with my bagpipes playing the Halo 2 theme tune with electric style, bringing out the beast mode in everyone.
That's Murph's. That's what Murph says before he starts having sex.
I do think there's going to be an emphasis on melee combat because, like I said, with
Yeah,
trench warfare, but
there's a lot of
Battlefield's melee is kind of annoying.
no. There's a lot of meleeing in the trailer, isn't there? A
Yeah,
lot of
sorry,
meleeing.
excuse me.
Murph's blowing someone.
Fuck's sake. But Battlefield's always it's always been like you sneak up behind somebody or you get close to somebody, you press a button, and you go into this animation where you just try and stab them, and you could,
Yeah,
if you're good enough, you can get counter stab.
I didn't know you could do that. To be honest.
I've never been able to do it myself, but I've seen it.
Yeah. No, that's one thing that worries me. That I think there's so much potential in this game.
But there's so much
Especially,
that could go
yeah,
wrong.
especially with where COD is at the moment. But if they don't do it right, they.
If they do it right, they're going to knock COD off out of the ballpark for
Yeah,
probably I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I hate to go back on COD again, but Activision, uh, as much as people think that people make games to make games, you make games to make money.
yeah, it's a business.
It is, and I'm I. I'm probably wrong, but I'm sure Activision's mindset when it comes to COD is make as much money while this hype is going on.
Yeah, I think they're not making COD as durable as it should be,
No.
and I think they're doing that by making a game every year. I mean, look at Assassin's Creed. It's had its slump. They've realised that they need to stop making a game every year. There is no, mainstream Creed game coming out this year. There's a movie.
I
There is
can't
a
wait to see
movie.
that.
I really will see that. Michael Fassbender playing the
I
main
would like to
character.
say
How
that from
class.
what I've heard, somebody has actually paid a stuntman to do a leap of faith without any wires.
Oh God, I want to see that.
You don't want to see the outtakes.
You get that lovely little kind of ego
I'm
music
probably
that
wrong
starts
there. I
playing.
mean, I don't think
Splat.
any stuntsman would leap off a building without wires, no
They
matter how
might
much you
they
paid him.
might do it if it was into the sea. You could.
You've actually probably just summed it up there.
Yeah, you. I'm thinking that. I'm thinking, that they're going to Spain. I think they're going coastal. In Halo, not Halo One. Sorry, Assassin's Creed. You know, there are a few times where a leap of faith goes into water. So potentially a leap of faith there. I hope there is, but if not, we'll just have to have a CGI helped, leap of faith with a few strings attached.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I will get Battlefield 1.
Yeah, I'm. You know what? After this podcast, I'm probably going to pre-order it. I really probably am, and
I've,
that's a sentiment because I really want Modern Warfare 4 remastered.
but
I really do.
I don't usually pre-order games, to be honest.
No, I don't. But I think Battlefield 1 might be one I pre-order.
I think DICE's the biggest wall they have to climb is uh, basically balancing everything because Battlefield's always been about the four classes as well, or more.
Yeah.
And essentially, military technology was so not base, but it was nothing compared to World War Two or essentially about like modern warfare.
Mm, yeah.
And everybody's got ball action rifles, so listen to
Yeah.
this podcast. You're all gonna have to be crack shots to be good at Battlefield One.
Yeah. And unless the auto aim assist is huge,
Yes.
I think it's going to take a bit more skill than.
I think all us snipers are going to enjoy this game very well.
Yeah, yeah. Anyone who's good at sniping on Battlefront now is going to love Battlefield 1. I mean, there's going to be a few semi-automatic weapons and maybe a couple of autos. I mean, we do see an early automatic machine gun in the trailer.
And we see a Zeppelin.
Yeah, we do see a Zeppelin. We see some crazy guy on a horse. We do see some, yeah, but that's another thing we wanted to talk about, wasn't it? There's the dimensions of this game as well. You get land, air, and sea battles. From viewing the trailer, you're in
I didn't know
battleship.
about the sea battles actually. I didn't.
There's a battleship on part of it.
To be honest though, that's. Do you think you're going to do that as part of the multiplayer?
Mm, I'd be surprised. I think that's more of a campaign thing.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's. I almost hope that's how they keep it because I hope that they go all out on this campaign. I really do.
Just before, just before we actually ending the whole Battlefield thing, when I talked about COD's like and dislikes for Infinite Warfare trailer, Battlefield 1's trailer at the time of viewing the trailer was 1,228,900 odd likes, 22,000 dislikes.
Yeah. So
That sums it up.
Call of Duty has got more dislikes than Battlefield has likes. That is saying something.
Yeah.
That it really is saying something. More people have gone to the effort of clicking that dislike button on Call of Duty. I mean, the Call of Duty trailer, because it's been out a little bit longer, it's got a lot more views.
Yeah.
But it's only
I think there's a lot of people still undecided on it.
Yeah, I agree. But 295,000 likes to 1,591,000
With a trailer that just released like what 2-3 days ago.
Yeah, dislikes. Battlefield's got 1.2 million likes, 22,000 dislikes. I mean, the scales are so different to Call of Duty. It's
It's unbelievable.
Initial reaction shows that Battlefield is so much more popular, and I think, like we've said, if Battlefield stick this game right, it's going to be a big hit against COD.
It is.
COD's going to take a hit.
Even though, like I have said to our friend Kane, if they take out the stupid movement abilities of Black Ops 3, I will probably get Infinite Warfare just because I'm a sci-fi lover.
Yeah. It without the ridiculous wall running and stuff like that, which
I hate.
It's not a COD thing. It's not a COD thing. They've just. It's almost like they've just taken out of Titanfall.
They have. I mean, come on.
They did. There was a law. Titanfall actually filed a lawsuit against Black Ops 3 for that. I've got a feeling they want it as well.
I mean, we have talked about out of the podcast how Titanfall has changed shooters, but it's changed Halo, obviously.
Oh
It,
yeah, yeah. It's
but not
James
to the
Taylor.
extent of fucking Black Ops.
No,
Jesus
because
Christ.
Black Ops almost copied it. I mean, at least in Halo, you don't have war running.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you think we're finished with Battlefield 1? Just the
I,
trailer in general?
I think we're pretty much finished. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, if we get some more in-depth news about it, we may recover it again at some point. But I think for the initial trailer, just a small breakdown. Obviously, wasn't.
It's a
huge
short
amount of
trailer.
Yeah, it's a huge. It's a small trailer, but it portrays a huge amount of action.
I would, there's a little bit of news I'd like to put in that I just saw today.
He's pregnant.
No, shut
Oh,
up.
okay.
It's just because of my love for the Alien and Predator series. They've actually, thanks to AVP Galaxy, the guys over there who, I think they're like spies when it comes to 20th Century Fox, have learned that the new Predator movie is essentially being made into a summer blockbuster, like properly.
Is it?
Yeah, like it's going to be like one of those movies that they're really pushing for everyone to see, which
Do you think it'll work?
well, it's strange because the Predator movies have always been hit and misses with the general public.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one was awesome.
Ah, well, it's got Arnie in it.
So the second one was I liked it, but it was panned.
Yeah.
The last one with what's his face? He's in The Pianist. He's got that annoying nose.
Oh,
Adrian Brody.
yeah.
People liked that, but it was made off a very small budget. Whereas this one, Fox are putting all their money behind it.
Good
Which,
old Fox.
like I've talked about in the podcast, is since Fox have lost Star Wars and they've seen the hype that was involved around The Force Awakens,
Yeah, they made a mistake there.
Fox realizes that the Alien and Predator series is all they've got for sci-fi, apart from the Blade Runner sequel, which is coming out I don't know when.
I've heard about it.
Do I think that Predator will do well with a big budget? Yeah, if it's done right.
Yeah. No,
I
I
mean,
agree with that. If it's done right and it's taken care of, but I think we can say that about most franchises, can't we? If it is taken care of, and if it's done right, there is a lot of potential for what's out there. And I think, like you say, Alien is one of them.
yeah, but then you still need to get Isolation. Actually,
I do.
anybody who views this podcast on YouTube, I want you to put in the comments to get him to play Alien Isolation, so we can do a podcast on that game. Because Harf doesn't play horror games.
I
And
don't very often, but after a bit of persuading, I might play
You will.
Alien Isolation.
You will. This is recording. You will buy it.
There's proof now.
Yeah. But yeah, there's rumor that they might be bringing back Arnie for it.
Really?
I'm not a fan of that.
No, it's Terminator Genesis all over again, isn't it?
I like that movie.
I hadn't seen it, but I heard a lot of people complain about old Arnie.
No, he was a legend in it.
Was he that good? It's a film that I've got lined up to watch.
You don't watch Terminators for the emotional acting. I mean, sure enough, I cry at Terminator 2.
Terminator 2 is amazing. Terminator 2 is one of the
I
best
still
films
shed
of
a
all
tear
time.
even now, but I mean, I gritted my eyes out when I first watched it as a kid, but it's amazing. But Arnie, I mean, sure enough, he does say all the old lines and everything, but
I'll be back.
he's brilliant. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't help but love the man.
What was it? What was Emilia Clarke like in it? I've only seen her in Game of Thrones.
Bland.
Really?
Yeah.
No, apparently she's not going back to the franchise now.
Actually, they've put an entire halt on the franchise after Genesis.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm.
Arnie was the saving grace.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah, that was the other thing actually. Because we've got the new Alien movie coming out directed by Ridley Scott, which may be the sequel to Prometheus. There's another Alien movie that Neil Blomkamp. I don't know if you've seen either Chappie, District 9, or Elysium.
Yep.
He wants to direct it.
Really? I liked Elysium.
Oh, wow! I found someone that liked
I
Elysium.
did like it. I mean, I like Matt Damon.
Yeah, Matt Damon's a brilliant actor.
Matt Damon, and I'm very much looking forward to the Bourne film that's coming out in July, I think. I'm a big fan of the Bourne films.
What would you think of a sequel to the second Alien movie that cancels out the third one, where Sigourney Weaver and Michael Biehn reprise their roles as Ripley and Hicks, even though it's been like 30 odd years.
Oh, I don't know. Is that too old? Are they too old?
It's too old if they want to put them in like a sort of very mainline combat capacity. I'd say like in an advisory role, but I just wanted your opinion on it because
I think there's potential if they. It's Star Wars, isn't it? Over again, you want to make the presence of the older characters felt, but you don't want to give them the limelight.
I don't know. Like I think Han Solo stole. Well,
He stole the paycheck. I'll tell you that.
did he?
23 million for Star Wars Force Awakens.
Jesus Christ.
Whereas Daisy Ridley and John Boyega, because they're on a sliding pay scale, but because they're relatively unknown, they got paid £300,000 for the first film. Han Solo got Harrison Ford got 23 million. And this is publicly released figures. So that as far as I'm aware, this is accurate.
He did break something though, during filming though, didn't
Twice.
he?
Twice.
Wow. Okay, come on, that's damage pay.
He broke his leg because the Millennium Falcon door fell on him, and then also on a break from filming, he got in he flies. He's a pilot. He flies private planes, and he crashed his plane and broke his other leg.
Wow. So they should have got him in a wheelchair for the movie.
Literally should have just kept him in the seat of the Millennium Falcon, not let him move. But yeah, apparently that's the pay scales of
wow.
The actors for Force Awakens, and apparently Mark Hamill got $1 million, yet didn't say a word.
But then Luke Skywalker was always he wasn't the face of the original trilogy, but he was obviously the main protagonist. He was where the story was brought through.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think back to Alien. I think you've got to be careful with your older characters. I mean, no offense to Alien, but it's not as big a franchise as Star Wars, is it? So
it should be.
I know you say that. You love it.
Of course I do, but no. Star Wars is universally liked. I mean, it's got so many different, like kids can watch it and stuff like that.
Mm.
You know, there's always when every Star Wars movie comes, there's always that big lineup of like Lego toys, action figures, stuff like that.
BB-8 dolls.
Yeah. Whereas Alien's always sort of more for the more mature viewer.
Yeah.
You do have to. I'm sorry. Pre-order Battlefield 1. Please look on eBay for a very cheap copy of Isolation.
Okay, I will.
And see where your Turtle Beach is, because I know, because we both have the same Turtle Beaches. You'll love it.
My Turtle Beach is better than yours, shut up.
No, you're the one that had the mic on the wrong way for like, what, 6 months?
Hey. Oh, I can't say anything. That was entirely true.
So, next episode, we will be covering...
Halo 3!
Which you think is... What do you think is better? Because everyone that I talk to seems to like Halo 3 more than they like the second one.
Oh, that's a tough shout.
Yeah.
That is a tough shout. I think the overall multiplayer beats Halo 2. Not from the social aspect, I'd have to say, I don't think.
It has Forge. I'd give it that.
It brings in Forge. Forge is a huge point for Halo. So that brings Halo 3. Halo 3 campaign is very, very good.
Okay.
But I love Halo 2's campaign.
Yeah.
I like it. I like Halo 2's campaign better. I think I like Halo 3's multiplayer better.
But that's something we can get into in the next episode.
Yeah. That is something we will get into the next episode.
We do plan on... If we could do a weekly podcast, we would.
Yeah, but we're probably not going to make them every week. But we've had 2 in the last week, so
yeah, we've been lucky.
Yeah, we've been lucky, but we'll be looking at 2 or 3 a month. So stay tuned for more.
Yeah, and if you view the podcast, if you like it, if you don't like it, either way, leave a comment. Please let us know.
If you find me incredibly annoying, you're not the only one.
Yeah, I mean, come on, I should be getting paid to do this shit.
You mean you're not? I am. I'm paying myself.
But yeah, so basically, that's the end of this podcast for wonderful Halo 2 and
Yes.
Battlefield 1, even though COD just seems to sneak its way back in.
It always does, and somehow we managed to sneak Star Wars in as well.
Yeah, and an alien.
And Alien.
Yes!
And your wife. I don't know how
I swear
Michelle.
to God,
I
if I
don't know
meet
how
you
Michelle's
again,
napping.
I'm literally gonna put you in the tie clinch and knee the shit out of your face. But that's us signing off. Thank you very
Yeah.
much for viewing this episode,
Thank you
and
for listening, folks, and please like and subscribe to the channels this is put.
yes, even though it's Harv's channel, it's not technically ours. I'm joking. Anyway, thank you very much,
Whatever.
guys, for viewing or
Yep.
listening.
Thank you. Good night, folks.